What's up? I'm Adam, and today we're going to be talking about multitasking. You might know that I did my PhD, and I teach, and I run a nonprofit, and I'm on tour, and I do all of these things at the same time. A lot of the comments I get are about how I do all of these things at the same time. When I was a little kid, different members of my family used to tell me different stories at the same time while we were in the car. And so one person would be telling me one story that I'd never heard before from over here, and another person would be telling me another story from over here, and I would be able to sit in the middle and listen and hear both of the stories at the same time and be able to tell them back to them. I know that sounds super weird. As proof, and oh my god, I hope this works, I'm gonna do the same thing right now for you all. So I found two different YouTube videos that I've never seen before. One is about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's new music. The other is about Michelle Obama not going to Donald Trump's inauguration. So what I'm gonna do is I have my iPad and I have my phone, and I'm gonna play both videos at the same time while you're watching right now, and I'm going to recite the stories of each of those back to you when I'm listening to them at the same time. God, I hope this works. Don't look at my password. 3, 2, 1, go.
I hear music everywhere.
Travis Kelce teases Taylor Swift something.
Okay, let's just say you're hanging out. Say you're hanging out, having a little
House when Kansas City plays the Houston Texans.
a live bettors do. They see her walk into that stage, it's literally the field.
When it comes to the playoffs, sounds like Trump.
Okay, so in this video, it was all about why Michelle Obama is not going to Trump's inauguration. Michelle Obama was the only member of the husband and wife pairs that did not show up to Jimmy Carter's memorial service and his funeral in Washington, which happened a couple of days ago. And they specifically mentioned that Hillary Clinton and Laura Bush will all be attending the inauguration on Monday. But they said that Michelle Obama did pay her respects to Jimmy Carter, even though she did not show up to Jimmy Carter's funeral. And they talked about Jimmy Carter as a president, how he was an icon, and how he set an example for presidents for the future. And funny enough, they used the same word in this video to talk about Taylor Swift, her being an icon. So this video, Travis Kelce was on this news program, and he was asked a bunch of different questions. He was asked if he's heard any new music, and basically he said that there's new music everywhere when he's in the house, when he's around, that he hears new music. They talked about whether any of the new music was actually about him. They said the moment that she walks into any football stadium for any of his games, that everyone's phones come out, and they were really prodding him to ask if he's heard any of the new music, what the new music is like. This is a super weird skill, and I'm not saying that you should train yourself to have any of these kinds of skills, but that was fun, and I'm glad that I still know how to do that. But for real, multitasking. You're right, I like to do many things at the same time, and when I say multitasking, I don't necessarily mean literally doing two things at the same time. I think of multitasking as kind of like a break for my brain. Let me put it this way. You all might be at one of our concerts. We have VIP where we'll play dodgeball with you or do a meet and greet. Then we'll go on stage and we'll do the show. That's a bunch of hours of work. And then after the show, I kind of want a break, and I want my brain to focus on something that's not music related. I need to focus on something else. And in order to keep myself focused, that's one of the reasons why I stayed in school. It's the kind of structure that I needed to give myself a break from the kind of free-flowing music kind of thing. So after shows, I would go back into the dressing room and I would either write or read. And because school was so complicated and difficult, it really made me focus on it fully. Your escape from your job doesn't necessarily need to be something like school. As long as it's kind of tickling your brain in that creative way, I would recommend having something else you do, so your whole existence is not just focused on your one job. In all of the music stuff I do, a lot of my work is focused on the business side of it. How do we create a campaign that's going to sell a lot of albums, get people to listen to the album? How do we create a campaign around a tour that's going to get people to come out to the show, be curious about the show, see what it is? All of those strategies are very similar to how it works when I'm doing my climate advocacy work. So if you think about building a climate movement, it's really about getting people to learn things, getting people to come in person to events, to protests, to marches, getting people to change behavior, getting people to advocate for things. That's what you all do as fans of the band. You advocate for things, you listen to our music, you come out to live shows, you buy merch to help support us. That's just really a byproduct of the multitasking, that all of these things are happening and I'm learning one and applying it to the other. Okay, so now what does this mean for you all? A lot of people don't work jobs like I do. A lot of people don't do jobs where they get to travel around the world. A lot of people work from 9 to 5 and they say, okay, it's really hard to multitask. It's really hard to do something else at the same time when you have a schedule like that. And that is true. However, one of the things that I would suggest in this multitasking idea is to try and learn something new. One of the best things you could do, and you could do this at any age, is learning a new language or learning a new creative pursuit. And even if these things go very slow, if they take a really long time to wrap your mind around, that's fine. As long as you give yourself the structure and you're continuing to learn and continuing to grow, I think that works and I think that's perfect. And honestly, to me, that's multitasking. If you have something that you're really passionate about and you can escape your day-to-day when you get tired or frustrated or angry about it, having that escape is so fundamental, so important, and so rewarding. So I hope this answers some of your questions about how I do multiple things at the same time and why I do multiple things at the same time. I think multitasking is really valuable. And go home and try that listening to 2 different videos at the same time and see if you can hear both of those stories. See you next time.